Hey folks, as you can see, I have been shoveling snow today, again. This has simply got to be one of Canada's most favorite pastimes because I've noticed we are always doing it. It would seem like every time I pick up this shovel, it either begins to snow or blow or sometimes even rain. But this is truly part of what makes us Canadian. It is part of who we are, and we have always made the most out of it. I can only imagine what it was like years ago when all of the snow was likely cleared away with one of these. My name is Warren Furman, co-founder of Midwest Fresh, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the establishment of Furman Farms, agricultural adaptations, and how the idea of Midwest Fresh first came to be.
The buildings that you see here represent the beginning of this farm's history. This is the original homestead of Furman Farms. It was established in 1934 by my grandfather and continues to operate to this day. My dad Alan and I have both settled families on this site, and with a continued interest in both grain farming and farming as a whole, I believe the next generation may remain close to agriculture as well. Back in the early days, Grandpa and Grandma started out with a small herd of cattle, a couple of workhorses, and a simple plow for grain farming. Grandma also had a garden and tended it vigorously, partially because she enjoyed it, but mainly out of necessity. Both Grandma and Grandpa knew that the year's harvest was crucially dependent on their actions throughout the growing season. Not to mention, there was always the worry of weather conditions along the way. A few miscalculations or a string of bad luck could have huge impacts on both quantity and quality of the very food they needed to survive. As a result, my grandparents, their family, their friends, neighbors, or basically anyone outside of a larger center had to take part in one form of harvest or another. Methods to conserve food using electric refrigeration were not only inaccessible at the time, but were very expensive and unrealistic. So instead, age-old traditions were used. Canning, preserves, smokehouses, cold cellars, and even ice boxes were used to help keep goods from spoiling over the winter.
As we all know, Canada is a country of seasons. We have winter, less winter, and finally summer. Crops, grains, forage feeds, grass, trees, and fruit all flourish during the warm season, so making the most out of these limitations has always been essential.
As time progresses, experience, along with new technology, has allowed the agricultural industry to expand and grow, allowing farmers and food producers to match a growing demand. Utilizing technology, nature, and combining that with things like crop rotations, minimum tillage, precision farming, rotational grazing, shelter belts, and, if possible, irrigation, we can begin to maximize the most out of our shorter growing seasons. These practices have been adopted by all forms of agriculture and continue to adapt to an ever-changing industry. Grain farming, ranching, produce, and fruit all have their own unique traits and require farmers to evolve these practices independently from each other.
Here at Midwest Fresh, we operate an indoor facility that produces a weekly harvest for the entire duration of the year. We do so using some older methods, along with the introduction of a more modern and unique approach to solving the timeless issue of growing during the winter. We all need to eat, and as the world population grows, so does its demand for food. You know, one of my most favorite things about this facility is the smell you get when you first walk inside. It reminds me of a June morning with fresh grass and leaves on the trees. But that's because every day in this facility is a June day, regardless of the weather happening outside. Let me begin to describe some of the processes at work inside this facility by answering some commonly asked questions. Question 1. Many times we've been asked, how do we grow our produce indoors throughout the year? And also, how can we achieve a weekly harvest?
Well, this is achieved by setting up a 3-stage growth system. A system that consists of 3 separate areas, all of which are controlled with individual environmental atmospheres. Using this system, we have superior control over the various germination, seedling, and completion zones. Combining this system with hydroponics and LED lighting, we are able to simulate the atmospheres inside the greenhouse so that the effect is comparable to outside on a beautiful sunny June day. The second biggest question that we have been asked here at Midwest Fresh is, what is hydroponics, and how can so many plants be grown in such an organized manner? The answer to this is unique to Midwest Fresh because in this facility we combine our 3-stage growth system with hydroponics, vertical farming, and close space farming. This allows us to achieve a maximum potential yield in a smaller and more effective manner. However, none of this is possible without a lot of preparation, hard work, patience, and a growing understanding of each and every product that we produce. It is now time to introduce you to our Midwest Fresh team. These hard workers are the engine of this greenhouse, and they are what makes our weekly delivery system and online store possible. This is Whitney. She is co-founder of this facility along with myself. We started this business with a prototype over 3 years ago, and it has evolved into what you see today. She is our online rep and works with the finance section of this business. Her skills as an engineer combined with computer design were a huge asset when it came down to her and I designing this facility. Here is my amazing wife, Josie. She is operational manager of the indoor facility and works alongside other employees harvesting, transplanting, and seeding on a very strict and observed basis. With proper sequencing and placement of transplants, the system is always ready for the following week's harvest. And Tiffany. Tiffany has truly been an asset to this company. Starting into her second full year, she has been advancing our system's records and does an excellent job coordinating the various inventories of our stock. She works with her sister Josie, and together we can manage a facility with well over 65,000 plants. The idea of Midwest Fresh started out as a simple hobby inside a wooden greenhouse I built as a Christmas present for my wife. But with some research, experience, and a bit of perseverance, we all began to notice that there was more that could be done. We could take this prototype and scale it up in a way that would make it feasible to create a business model from it. With hard work, experimentation, and creativity, it has become clear that the future of agriculture is certainly going to be interesting. Who knows what is around the corner in terms of how we grow our food? All I know is that I want it to be fresh and healthy, grown nearby, and raised by someone that cares for the product that is being sold. Thank you for tuning into this month's video and for contributing to a growing local economy. With your help, we can continue to grow and offer a wider selection of items. Thank you.
As we all know, Canada is a country of seasons. We have winter, less winter, and finally summer. That'll be funny.
We have winter. Lots and lots of winter.
And wind.
And ice. It's so fun. Say hi, Sean.
Hey guys.
Hi. This is fun.